Yeah, find out.
Oh my god. درد هوای شده غم بزرگ. ده تیرا غوره دلتا بس تو بس برای چی فرات که برم 3 نفر به حال سی و به حال ای روی آجندا پرسشن برنامه آجندا را سعی که این نفر پرسشنش در کدام حال است در این حال است در او حال است در این حال مثلا دینی کمیتر باید روان کنی هر کسی که شیش در او جا که بود در او جا باید اینجا همت میه خو همت مقاطع ها اینجا همت میه حالا فعلا خیمیل ماست همت میه میدانا را نو اپلود میکنم یا نو گرفتم ایت نمیفهم کلی کجا هست برای خدا هست کلا کی هست منتظر ما
No longer hearing audio.
Yeah, I have muted my PC in order to avoid the noise because right now the guests are coming out. So there was a bit noise, so that's why I muted. If you want, I keep it unmuted.
Yeah,
I have muted my PC in order to
yeah, that's
avoid
good.
the noise. یه پاس میکنم پندره پاس میکنم پاس میگیرد پاس میکنم خب حالا ما نیم نه بده باید چرا میریم بجاست خب آره او بذاری برید یک نفر برد ما از دور نزن برام ما برام کجا میری بعد نره به خدا من خلاص Amore Bergman, خلاص خلاص.
ترجمان محمد شما چی بودین؟ چی بود؟ خانم چه گفت بزنم؟
آمین. باشه آن شد بخوان. بانش. خلاص. شاید یکم وقت پیش روشن شود.
No, I will go to We need the memory cards though.
امین میل خب ما برش میل میکنم.
خلاص سلام
باش کنم لعنتی روشن نشده. آجل یک دیگه خرابه.
انا باخد جبل صار
اما دیگه را برک دیگه بر. پروژکتور دیگه روان پیجی مهم است شروع میشه شما. یک ایمیل براتون اومد؟
یک ایمیل بکنم ولی یک شرط فایل امور خوش آمدید روز چطور فقط نیست براش یک پرینت از مسئله که پاسپورت خودتون که بعضی آنها به خاطر بعضی بی‌امیجمنت محسوس شده بودن و همکارا و شاگردها و مهمانهای ما نداشتن که واقعا باید از مهمانها باش هم اطلاع هستن
زوجك كم؟ كم يرزق؟
برادر کم این طرف خیدر بتریشه
ترجمة؟
این طرف در بتری که به وجور به برادر نه برو نه پرده را دار پرده باز برای آدینس منو نخواد شوه زیاد درش نسی که قد تو نام خدا از منظره مخابرات داره ساده شد so okay I just I'm sound check کنم کتمای sorry
نمی کنکشن صحیح کنم
اصلا نه
یعنی واسه IGFA safe
no it's fine با خودشان کامرا اقدام کنن میتونن میخوان کامرا اقدام کنن yes okay Julie can you hear me
فقط استفاده شما كده
ابي بس بلان بس قبل ما تخلص الظهر اجي في كل شيء okay great all the online speakers are requested when you have your sessions please turn on your videos if you don't mind thank you we are going to start I will keep the webex unmuted okay thank you we are all set أنا يلا برزنتيشن له مش دائما كهرباء أبلود كده أخلص مثلا وز بزمن جناب محترم نشاط خالد سيبي أو مجلس قرار سيبي سيد ده دوار ده غنى ذي سلايس نلري وده منير ده كده بس تقول أجندات شنشوي ده بدأ أجندات زمان طوّل وردت مش أنا خالصي كده وسط الناس بيجي وبيلو وسط غرور بلان برای سوزی یا وسط باید بریک چی یاد کنم شما ده حال سی برین نقصه مهم ده من پیش برین دیروز برای باز کنک یوزن کامپیوتر رادیو he's okay with this just I'm explaining that دا بريك شوف شايف ده فينا بعد بيعمل ده شروع تيجي كنا بيعمل ده شروع تيجي ده أغلب تاست بيهدف ده كابيزن تاورا أغلب بعد بيع ده خلي دي بيع شروع تيجي كنا يعني هذا شروع تيجي أنا بين ده صوت ده جمشي ده شمول خلك بانلون نزيد أنت ده خبر يولسني مزيد يولسني بيحال إيه
حال ايه
خبر زندان دوباره خبر دادن چون بده داد غلطه دوره مدیر احمدی رو اولین کسی مدیر احمدی دیگه است اومد پرزنتیشنش رو ما گرفتم دی پرزنتیشن داده دیده so first he's have and then
موجود قرار داد
سعید انور ساده
BBC نامدن ما بیستیش شدن
آنلاین هم نیستن بوج آمده
یعنی بچگی بود آجنده چیکار
خب فاین اوکی مجید قرار آمده مناسب خالد آمده okay it's all set you can start if you want جزاك
Easy to cut casta técnica para darme eso. Ya que está revisado. Ya que está revisado con más eso viene.
so join nash چی میتونه بگه no yeah
Make sure that you are in this call. So, good morning once again, everyone. Welcome to the second day of Internet Society Afghanistan. Before starting the session, we have groups of students. Name of the portal is Media Studio. Translation, we can provide it with the case and also does anyone need any translation here? No? If I may ask the participants, how did you know about Internet Forum, about this conference? How did you get information about this conference? Did you raise your hand? Yes, can we have someone to hand over the wireless microphone to our participants? I'm still asking if anyone needs any translation, just indicating you can go to the end of this call. Can you please introduce yourself and how did you know about Internet Forum? Why does it
Yes, thank you. My name is Shaykh Rabi. I have found this event information from social media, Facebook page, and I have registered.
Thank you so much. Okay. Social media helps us a lot. By giving information, to connecting us, to having access to information and opportunities. What social media is? Social media are computer-based technologies, applications of communication, having access to information, sharing of ideas, and by this social media-based, internet-based, a number of users with easy access, electronic communication, to share personal and professional information as well as other content. Examples of social media, which are mostly used are Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and also Instagram. Our session mostly will discuss to share with you what social media really is, and also the opportunities social media creates, and also the challenges users face while using social media. For this session, we have speakers with us. Our first speaker is Mr. Munir Ahmadi. He is the Media Law and Policy Program Manager at the Internet Society. May can you request Mr. Munir Ahmadi to come on stage? We have our second speaker. He's Mr. Majidullah Kharam. He is a writer. We have him online with us. And our third speaker is Mr. Nasser Khalid. He's innovation activist. He's also online with us. Can we please, technical team, have Jim in the screen?
Okay. مجد قرار يا نصر خالد.
Hey, salam everyone. I hope you guys can hear me.
Yes, we hear you, Mr. Nasser.
Salam. خوش هستم که IGFA سوال کنم.
Thank you so much. We are beginning first with our first speaker, who is Mr. Munir Ahmadi. He works as Media Law and Policy Program Manager in Internet Network. Internet Network is one of the leading media organizations. We are working for media law and also for freedom of expression in Afghanistan. Through the study Internet Network has conducted shows that in the past decade, Afghanistan's users using social media has reached to approximately 12% of the population, but still, while using social media in Afghanistan, we face many regulatory problems. I would like to request Mr. Ahmadi to share his insights and also the work Internet Network is doing in Afghanistan in terms of media expression and also about the standards and also the regulatory work that you're doing.
Good morning, everyone, and also my regards to Nasrat Khalid and other online panelists. Based on the agenda, I'm supposed to speak about freedom of expression online, and as mentioned, a few points about internet works in Afghanistan. First of all, let me raise the question, what do we know about media or freedom of expression online? Is there any difference between freedom of expression online and offline? Or the nature and type of media that we are discussing? Is there any difference between media, traditional media and online media? On the other hand, there are some as mentioned, we have some regulatory issues. In every country, in each country, there is the regulatory issues and government politics, which is involved with media and citizens' right to freedom of expression. We will discuss some in the context of Afghanistan. Every one of you may know that freedom of expression is a basic human right to everyone. Everybody has the right to freedom of expression. Everyone has the right to express himself, herself. These rights include freedom to see, receive, and impart information and ideas of all kinds. When we say we have right to freedom of expression, it is coming from a legal source, like the Constitution of Afghanistan and international documents such as Universal Declaration of Human Rights and International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights recognizes and guarantees the right to freedom of expression, as well as the medium that we use to express ourselves, like traditional media such as radio, TV, newspaper, or online and modern media such as internet intermediaries, Facebook, Twitter. So, when we say everyone shall have the right to freedom of expression, it also means that everyone shall have the right to use any medium to express himself or herself. This is also guaranteed under international law and international principles. Basically, the right to freedom of expression is right of everyone, right of the government employees, rights of prisoners, rights of children, and everyone, beyond any specific circumstances, beyond race, color, or religion, everyone shall have the right to freedom of expression. This right, as mentioned, includes right to receive information and seek information. When I have the right to freedom of expression, it doesn't only mean that I have the right to express myself. I have also the right to receive information from you. It's two-way, right? Like I can speak and I can also hear or listen. As well as any kind of information is protected under the guarantees of international law. Even unpopular information, you are free to criticize your government. You are free to express unpopular information, even controversial information or ideas, or offensive ideas. It's also protected under international principles of freedom of expression. Regarding the media online or intermediaries, international law, specifically Universal Declaration of Human Rights and Joint Declaration on Freedom of Expression online, any type of media is protected, as well as Afghan Constitution and mass media law of Afghanistan also guarantees the type of media that we are using. Article 3 of Afghanistan mass media defines media as electronic media and print media. Within the electronic media, internet is also considered and recognized as a medium to express or as a medium of communication. So, fortunately, we have this positive point in our laws from the legal point of view. So, internet and all internet intermediaries and all type of media online is protected under Afghanistan laws. So, whenever we are using Facebook or Twitter, nobody has the right to intervene and nobody has the right to stop us not expressing ourselves to online media. We all know, most of us, maybe you are technical guys or from information technology. You know that internet is a unique medium of communication. From the legal point of view, we have, when we look at the internet from the legal point of view, we have 4 types of internet medias or internet intermediaries that nobody, specifically states, does not have the right to restrict or stop the operation of such kind of media. The first type of this media is internet service providers, ISPs. States have obligation to protect ISPs and not intervene to the operation or to the work of ISPs. The second type of the mediums or intermediaries online is web hosts or web page we have. So that's classified, and everybody shall have the right to use this web hosting providers and to express himself and to use it as a medium of communication. International law protects and imposes obligation on the states to support and to not intervene to the operation of web hosting or web hosting providers. The third one is social media platforms. You may hear about Kabul taxi page. So this had an intermediary online, so it was stopped by the government, it was blocked by the government. Blocking and filtering measures are extreme and are most intrusive to the nature of the right to freedom of expression, and it's not acceptable. So one of the Afghanistan national standards and international standards require that social media platforms or online intermediaries should not be intervened by the government. The government has the obligation to not intervene in one hand, on the other hand should support and protect these the free activity of social media platforms. The fourth one is search engines. They are also shall not be liable, and the states must not intervene to the work and operation of the search engines because they are all coming from the legal base, which is the right to freedom of expression. When we have the right to freedom of expression as a basic human right, the state has the obligation to protect and support our right to freedom of expression. At the same time, the state has the obligation to protect the medium that we are using or the medium of communication that we are expressing ourselves. So these are all, the intermediaries are all, shall not be liable, and the liability regime must be the safe harbor, and as much as we are free to express ourselves, this is in line with our basic right of freedom of expression. So according to international standards, no one should be liable for the content produced by others. So this is another principle. The third-party content or user-generated content on social media or online intermediaries are protected. No one shall be liable, even not the person who is expressing, who is creating this content. At the same time, the intermediary or the media or social media that the person is using. Both of them shall not be liable according to Manila principles on intermediaries liability and according to UN resolutions. So no one shall be liable for the third-party content. But unfortunately, we had the case in Afghanistan, Kabul taxi. So the National Security Council summoned those two guys that were supposed to be the runner and the drivers of the Kabul taxi Facebook page. So this is not in line with local laws, with international laws, and even regional principles. So this principle is protected, and Afghanistan, as a signatory to ISOCA, International Covenant to Civil and Political Rights, has the obligation to protect the social media. Only liability is acceptable if it complies with the law and if it is necessary in a democratic society and if pursues a legitimate aim. So maybe privacy is a legitimate ground for limiting the work of the social media, or national security grounds, but still national security could be misused by the government. At a minimum, intermediaries should not be required to monitor the content. When I say intermediary, it also covers the ISPs, it also covers Facebook administrators, it also covers the web hosting or search engines. Any of them, these four types that we mentioned, none of them are required to monitor the content which is created or generated by the third party or by the users. So monitoring the content is equal to censorship, and censorship is prohibited according to Afghan laws and international principles. Filtering and blocking of the web pages, social media platform, and totally, generally, intermediaries are not acceptable. Blocking or mandatory blocking is an extreme measure on right to freedom of expression. No one shall be, even government is not allowed to block the entire website or block the entire Facebook or Twitter or any social media platform, as it's not in line with Afghan laws. Article 4 of the Afghan Mass Media Law and Article 34 of Afghanistan Constitution explicitly guarantee the right to freedom of expression and the medium that we are using to expressing our ideals. Content filtering systems, which sometimes are imposed by governments or commercial bodies, are also not, if they are not end user, so they are not required and are illegal. Any filtering system must be complied with the law and must be least intrusive to freedom of expression. At the same time, regarding the freedom of expression online, we have the network neutrality. There should be no discrimination in treatment of the internet data and traffic. This is an international principle, but unfortunately we don't have anything in our laws. We accept that our laws are not too much modern and not developed in order to be in line with international principles. So discrimination in internet data and traffic is also not should not be treated and should not be imposed. On the other hand, internet intermediaries such as Facebook, social media platforms, search engines, and ISPs are required to be transparent about the traffic or information management practices. So the transparency is also required, and this is another principle. At the same token, access to internet is another basic human right, which is coming from the right to freedom of expression. It means that when freedom of expression is a basic human right of everyone, access to mediums and access to internet today is also a basic human right. Some of the European countries, such as Greece and other countries and US, they have considered and recognized access to internet as a constitutional right of the citizens. Although there are a lot of problems, the states are unable to provide access to internet. I'll conclude in one or two. For example, have in mind Wakhan of Badashan, a very mountainous and remote area of Afghanistan. Making sure that everyone has the right to access to internet or providing access to internet has major difficulties. Like infrastructure is needed to be built in Wakhan. On the other hand, awareness, internet use needs a little bit of education, digital literacy. So legal awareness on internet use is also required. At the same time, financial issues are also another obstacle toward access to internet. Like internet use requires some cost. It's not free. Here, the governments are required to provide free internet to the society, to the people, because it's a basic human right. When we say it's a human right, a state has the obligation to provide it as much as they can, as free for the citizens. So access to internet is a new issue and is a basic human right, but states are unable to promote this right of citizens. But at the same time, cutting off internet is not required, is imposing this as a punishment for segments of population is not legal, and cutting off internet is not legal. Anybody, a state or commercial parties, when they cut off internet or they shut down internet, so or part of internet is never justified. We may hear that during election period in some countries or in Afghanistan there was some rumors that they will block Facebook, they will block WhatsApp or Telegram. So we have heard this and we have these cases. So this is never justified and it's not legal. At the same time, shutting down internet and limiting internet access also not justified and not legal. State parties have an international obligation to promote access to internet and to make sure that every citizen has the right to access to internet and use the internet. And lastly, if there are some restrictions due to security or due to national security or privacy or right of others or reputation of people, for example, insult Insult is not allowed through social media. I mean, all the right of others, which is coming under the general categories, for the purpose of protecting public order, for the purpose of protecting the legitimate national security and the privacy of individuals, social media platforms or online media could be limited. But all these limitations must comply with the law and must be necessary and must be for the legitimate purpose. The internet, we all know that internet can also be misused to cause harm to people, to cause harm to the society. So that's why there are three-part test limitations in international law to limit freedom of expression. And the limitation must be, again, complied with the law, not in contradiction. Hosts and intermediaries must not be held liable and must be immune from liability. This is also an international principle, and ISPs must be, because it's not logical to make liable the parties that they are not aware of the content. For example, Facebook cannot control millions of posts every day. So it's not logical and it's not possible to make Facebook liable for the content in different languages which is posted on Facebook. At the same time, the internet service providers must not be liable. So this is protected and this must be made sure in national guarantees. And lastly, states must ensure universal access to internet. At the same time, states should not delegate censorship measures to intermediaries. Some of the countries has used these principles to their national laws and they have aligned their national laws to international principles. But still in Afghanistan, we are too far from these principles. Our government has the obligation, international obligation, to make sure to accommodate all these principles to national laws. And some of the NGOs such as Internews, Night Supporting Open Media, and other NGOs which are working for freedom of expression and media, they are trying to make sure that to accommodate these principles in national laws, to amend laws, the national laws, and to force the government to consider these principles. I hope one day we have those principles and internet use should be recognized in Afghanistan as a human right, and it's promoted by the government. And the one who is criticizing the government, the one who is using the freedom of expression is free, not like those who are jailed. Afghanistan is a worse country for journalists and a worse country for those who are using the right to freedom of expression as well. I hope for a better future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mira and Dari, for sharing your insights and also empowering that using social media and also freedom of expression and saying that everyone, despite your reputation, despite your status, freedom of expression is the basic human rights, and whether it's online, offline, social media, at the same time covering, sharing your insights about what media law supports Afghanistan, and also access to internet, social media, your ideas, and also sharing information through social media. It's supported through Afghanistan media law, and also the president, blocking, and censorship of content is not allowed based on Afghanistan media law. At the same time, Afghanistan media law supports content sharing and also makes sure that content and also the ideas shared by citizens is secure and users are safe by sharing their insights. Thank you so much. We'll get back to Many with your Q&As, with your questions later. But we are moving to our second speaker, who is Mr. Haral. Social media is providing benefits, opportunities for everyone. If you're a student, teacher, writer, if you're a businessman, if you're a lecturer, or you're a self-help citizen, provides opportunities for everyone at the same time providers. From taking your information, their writing shared through social media, to building fans, followers, at the same time promoting their books, selling their books. We are getting to Mr. Majidullah Faral to share us his insight about what social media is doing for writers. Are we having him?
Yeah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, everyone. First of all, allow me to congratulate all of you on the occasion of the International Freedom of Speech Day. This is one of the years that Afghans have had an achievement that they can be proud of, and this achievement does not come to us with a small price. We have been waiting for this across the life of our youth, and you have been witnessing this, especially through the past years. Freedom of expression, many aspects, and I would like to focus on one aspect of the is voice. Okay? Is the voice okay? Can you hear? Can you all hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
I hope you can hear me well.
If you cut the video, the audio can take up all the bandwidth, and it's the audio that's very intensive.
Hello?
You can't. That's much. I think that's better.
This is the karaoke you because
So I'd like to focus.
you can start now.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to focus on an important aspect of the freedom of speech, which is the security of activists and individuals who are practicing freedom of speech over internet and through the social media platforms. This is an issue that we have been neglecting it food for those who are using social media for
Video
maximum.
just making it small.
This is a medium that is used by normal individuals compared to the mediums that are used by individuals that are more expensive. The messengers for using social media.
Mr. Karaj, sorry for interrupting. Mr. Karaj, sorry for interrupting. Can you disconnect the video of yours? I think you're speaking from the mobile. It's, yes. Can you try now, please?
This is Jolly. You should move the room while he's speaking because you're getting an echo.
Switch off.
What now?
Interpreter voice.
Is it better now?
There's an echo.
Is there any way that you voice?
Mixer. It's the sound system. There is an echo. How, Shabana, what do you call an echo?
Echo is echo.
The voice is echoing, right?
Yeah.
Just tell her what it means. She doesn't understand. Can you speak again? Just try speaking.
Hello?
Okay, so it's good. Just tell him to try again. Could you please continue to speak?
Yeah. So what I'd like to focus on is the security of the activists or the individuals who are being expressing their opinion over internet and the social media platform. This has been one of the issues. Right.
In there, so the echo stops.
He's in Kabul. Is he from Afghanistan or is he speaking from outside Afghanistan? Because he's on a mobile. If it's here, your bandwidth is not of that time.
همون رو بگم بخواد از همون چیز یک دست کتش برای خود چیز مشکل از طرف مانست و برای نمان طرف کرد بس تو منظور اینترنت مشکل نیست خیلی ولی ما اینکه خاطرم ساوند یک هست اون انسان ره چون کنم راست کنم اینترنت مشکل نیست اینترنت از طرف از موبایل نمیشه کل برنامه گرفته چیز کن که از اون بگو از چی ویدیو رو گمان نکن که بگو کنه برنامه خوب است از که سونی به بچه زبال گپ میگم سلو کار میکنه.
Could you speak again, please? Nasrat, hi. Can you speak again?
Hey, I think you guys need to turn your...
Nasrat, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Can you speak, Nasrat? We can see you.
Yes. Can you guys hear me now?
Enable your volume.
Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Nasrat, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you speak a bit more loudly? We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Volume up. Volume.
Can you guys hear me? Hello? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello?
We can hear you, Nasrat.
Okay, all right.
You can start.
The question was to Majid.
You should just go ahead, Nazra.
Can you guys hear me now?
They told you to go ahead, Nazra.
All right. So I guess I'll talk in two sort of ways. One is the ideal way of how we look at freedom of expression, and its connection to the internet. And then I'll scale down to a few practical solutions that we can use in Afghanistan. I'm having a very bad connection. I'm sorry.
You sound good. You should just keep going.
Yeah, so as I was saying, we'll look at this in two ways. In a sort of ideal way, and in a global stance, we look at the freedom of expression as everybody's right to have any opinion and expression. The right also includes freedom to hold opinion without interference, and to get or to send information through any media, the internet, or the old-fashioned media, the TV, or even the newspaper. At the same time, we're looking at the point where the internet comes in, and just like my friend there even put on the clauses of the human rights and all of that, is the freedom to connect. And the freedom to connect is, in our sense, we could just look at the internet. It's also a human right. It's connected to the freedom of expression, and so sort of going back to 2003, the World Summit on Information Society. We also discussed that communication is a fundamental social process, a basic human need, and the foundation of all social organizations. It's central to the information society. So as you can see, as you can see, there's a lot that supports the idea of everyone having internet and everybody saying and receiving messages and information in the way that it was written and in the way that you receive it. So this should not be looked at as in a way to say, hey, you know what, this is Afghanistan and we can leave some of that. I know we do that in Afghanistan. A lot of times something happens and we go like, hey, you know what, this is Afghanistan. But let me tell you one thing, this is serious. This is everybody's actual right. It's not just somebody can give up and give it to you in a way to make you feel like, hey, I'm doing you a favor. You have internet in Afghanistan. You know, the answer to that is usually, hey, that is my very, very basic human right. So with that kind of note to start with, in the upper picture, that's the kind of ideal scenario that we should be looking at. And that, although I call it ideal right now because we're so far away from that, is something basic that is our right as humans that live in Afghanistan or any part of the world. So to set that clear is one thing that we all need to know. And now I can sort of come into a few areas in Afghanistan that we can look at, and that kind of very easy fixes that we can all work on, especially the government and the people that are involved. So the first one would be the government and other relevant parties should understand the role of the internet, and we need more experts in this field. I think
I think it's wrong to devastate the national interest of Afghanistan. As far as I was considering and I was searching that page, they were posting those things that was against the national interest of Afghanistan. How do you claim that they're posting to public awareness? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's a very good question. Regarding the national interest and national security, so freedom of expression nationally and internationally cannot be restricted to national security. What do you mean by national interest? So some of these titles and expressions are extremely vague and doesn't have any clear definition. Like we don't have any definition of national interest or national security in our laws. We have, but at the same time, when you are exposing corruption, when you are trying to impart or provide citizens with information of the wrongdoing of the government, that is extremely supported and is protected under Afghanistan constitution. So it is because the governments misuse national security term. So national security or national interest or public interest, they are not clear. What do you mean by national interest? What do you mean by national security? Using freedom of expression is a national interest. It's a public interest. Exposing corruption is a public interest. Preventing human rights violation is a public interest. So anything comes under the definition of national interest or public interest. So the principle is that states should not, under the name of national interest, restrict freedom of expression. All restrictions on the ground of national security or national interest should be in line with the law. If there is a restriction on freedom of expression in the law, the state can impose it. Or if it is necessary. So was blocking Kabul taxi pay necessary in Afghanistan? Was it in line with the law? So only court order or a judicial decision can restrict a page, a social media platform. Was there, in the case of Kabul taxi, was there a court order, a judicial decision, or it was a political decision? This is why all political decisions should not be employed, should not be applied to the Facebook pages or to the mediums of expressing ideas.
Excuse me, my question, second part is this. We cannot disrespect any personality of the Afghan government or to all the world. How can you judge, and what's your opinion, how to avoid and do a massive public awareness in order to avoid such incident in Afghanistan? Because the internet, especially the social media, we're using to disrespect or downsize some of the personalities. It was, in my point of view, it's not a good according to our culture as well. Thank you.
Definitely. When there is the issue of reputation or the honor of someone, at the same time, if there is the issue of corruption. So exposing corruption has more value than the reputation of the person because it's something public. It's something related to everyone, to a population like to 13 million people in Afghanistan. When there is the issue of corruption, when balancing the right to freedom of expression and the privacy or reputation, in such kind of cases, in corruption cases, the freedom of expression or exposing of this information or ideas has more value than the reputation or than the privacy of someone. The privacy of the government officials are very limited and the scope is very narrow. An ordinary citizen who is not a political representative of the country has very wide privacy and reputation. The one who is representing you as a government official has very narrow and less reputation and privacy. For example, in some of the countries, in Western countries, they say, President does not have reputation. This is a clear principle there. We cannot claim it here, but in democratic societies, President or Prime Minister does not have reputation or honor. Anything you can say. I mean, any kind of offensive expression you can have against the president, because he is the number one leader of the country and he is doing the public interest things. Because of that, he or she does not have reputation in Western and democratic society. So finally, the scope of the reputation and honor or privacy of the government employees or government officials are very narrow and less. It's why that we have the right to freedom of expression and we can easily criticize them, because they are conducting the public interest things. That's why.
We have a next question. Can you just go up quickly? I think we are running out of time, or how are we on time? 15 minutes? Anyone else have a question? You can get into
در افغانستان تا قانون قابل وضع شده که حق کپی رایت در او باشه، اطلاع فقره داشته باشه. چون بعضا من مواجه میشم خودم بعضی پستایی که میکنم معمولا ما زیاد رسانگی میکنم، طبیعی است که اون کپی میشه و به نام دیگر کسا نشد میشه. حالا یک قانون وضع شده یا نه؟ چه کار؟
خب به خاطر یک سوالشون فارسی بود و فارسی تایی صحبت میکنم. در مورد قانون کاپی رایت یا استفاده از مالکیت معنوی intellectual property، ما در افغانستان قبلا یک قانونی داشتیم به نام قانون کاپی رایت، قانون حمایت از حقوق مؤلف، مصنف و هنرمند و غیره. او قانون تعدیل شد و قانون جدیدی که تازه نشر شده با تعدیلات بسیار خوب و کمپیش پرنسیپ‌های بیانگری را در زمینه کاپی رایت در نظر گرفته. بسیار یک قانون خوبی را ما تازه داریم، تازه تصویب شده قانون کاپی رایت و این هم جزء آزادی بیان هست که ما یعنی از نظریات خود وقتی ما ارائه میکنیم یا دیدگاه‌های خود یا یک مقاله نوشته میکنیم، اصولا قوانین کشورها و به ویژه قانون افغانستان و گپ بهتر دیگه که قانون جزای افغانستان یا کد جزایی یک فصل مشخصی را برای سوء استفاده از حقوق مالکیت معنوی یا کاپی رایت پیش بینی کرده. یعنی اگر کسی از مقاله ما به نام خود استفاده میکنه، این در کنار از اینکه جرم است در قانون جزا، خلاف اصل آزادی بیان هم است. یعنی آنچه که داشته های تو هست باید خودت مالک از او باشی و خودت باید او رو ابراز کنی. کسی دیگه حق نداره رو به نام خود استفاده کنه. خوشبختانه در قانون جزای افغانستان احکام بسیار خوب پیش بینی شده. اگر کسی در سوشال میدیا یا در رسانه‌های سنتی یا از طریق کتاب و رسالات اینا مقاله کسی را به نام خود استفاده میکنه یا کلیپ تصویری صوتی یا هر آن چیزی که از تراوش‌های ذهنی یک شخص است، اگر کسی دیگه بدون زحمت به نام خود استفاده میکنه قابل مجازات پیش بینی شده در کد جزایی جدید و احکام بسیار خوبی در قانون کاپی رایت جدید ما پیش بینی شده.
Yeah.
Can we
Yeah. Who's
There were
correct?
a few questions.
can we get back to Saraswat? Can you
Yeah.
Can you speak now?
No, it's not this.
Hi, can you guys hear me now?
No. What's this first?
Nasrat, do you hear us?
Yes, I don't know what's going on, but can you guys hear me? Yes, I can hear you guys.
I think it's going around.
Okay, so it's not Saraswat. Can you get back to Sarah if you can speak?
Majid Kharar is not.
Not sure what's going on.
He's off.
What about Nasrat?
Yeah, he's on.
Nasrat, do you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you guys.
Sound over. What is it?
Hello?
Yeah, he can hear us.
Yes, I can
Mr.
hear you.
Savannah.
You guys hear
He can
me?
hear us.
Can you speak now, Nasrat?
Yes, is this better? I give up.
Marks.
Is that an issue?
Yeah, he should add the sound. Why? He should add the sound of.
Do you know how to increase the volume? Do you know how to increase the volume? Sound? Can someone tell her how to? Does she know how to increase the volume? Why is the volume down? We had some questions here. Can we have the questions? There were two gentlemen behind.
Any other question from Sir?
Someone had a question, right? Yes. The mics there. Can you give the mic to her, please?
Hi everyone. I just have three questions regarding, for example, in media. Can you please tell me what's the real meaning of human rights according to media definition? Because mostly media show express human rights for prisoners or those who kill people. It means when non-people die, we have no human rights. And when we see that, for example, when media is showing prisoners or, for example, those who kill us, they just hide their faces in media. They do not show, for example, these people did like that. They hide the face, they only say the name. And I have another question also, that can you please tell me the freedom in media is to say good or bad word about everyone without having any proof. For example, we see that in media lots of people say good or bad thing about someone and they have no proof. When somebody is asking that can you please give us, for example, any kind of proof, they say that we can't say that. It means, is this some kind of freedom to say anything without any proof? As we mentioned, my third question is about that you say that we have, for example, media has some rules and regulations. How much or how many rules does the media follow nowadays in Afghanistan? Thank you.
Take it there, please. Take it on Skype.
So,
tell him to log in on Skype.
A lot of good questions. Regarding the first question, human rights, so I'm not going to discuss too much on human rights and humanitarian rights. So there is difference between human rights and humanitarian rights. Definitely, when there is a criminal on TV, on media, and the picture is blurred or the picture is not clear, it is because the person who is accused is not a criminal. There is a principle called presumption of innocence. Whenever the court declares someone a criminal, it is the time that we can clearly, we can publish his or her face. And at the same time, publishing the picture or the face of the criminal is another type of punishment. Whenever someone is punished, so there are some kind of supplementary punishments, even in Afghanistan laws, that to declare through the media and publication that this person is a criminal. So this is another psychological punishment to them. So when they do not show the face of the criminal on TV, it's because he or she is not so far declared criminal. And declaring criminal or calling someone a criminal is the job of the court, not the media or not someone else. Regarding good or bad through media or freedom of expression, definitely freedom of expression is a basic right and it is protected, it's a human right. Human rights are those which just because we are human, beyond from circumstances or conditions, such as race, color, we are entitled to these rights. Freedom of expression is not an absolute right. Freedom of expression has some restrictions. But in order to define the restriction, this is the question. Who defines these restrictions? What is the amount of restriction on freedom of expression and for what purpose we can restrict freedom of expression? This is a big question and a debate throughout different, in different countries, so it's still questionable. If the government defines the restriction on freedom of expression, the governments and political parties or political agents are trying to narrow the scope of the freedom, the principle of freedom, and they are trying to widen the scope of national security and security. So there should be a balance between the restrictions and the freedom itself.
Can we get back to one of the speakers? If not, we will wrap up because we are getting out of the time.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, Ustad, we can hear you. You may continue.
All right, I guess this is all because I'm not there. You know, I could have fixed technical issues. But just glad to know that IGFA is happening this year. I was there last year as part of the team who put on the efforts. It's going great. I've been listening to the conversations and all of that. Shabana, do you want me to go ahead and give out a brief review of what I was talking about?
Yes, we are running out of the time. You can start your slides, your presentation, whatever. Yes.
Okay, so I will just sort of make it short. In a sense, what my message is to everybody there and those who are listening is the fact that we need to take these articles of the Universal Declaration on Human Rights, the freedom to connect, and the World Summit on the Internet Society, that the Internet is a freedom of right of every single Afghan, no matter where they are in the country. It's a human right, and we all have to stand for it at some point, with the best way to achieve that and put on our energy through our means to be able to get people connected so they can have access to information and get to practice the freedom that is given to them universally. Now, with that being said, as the bigger picture, on the lower level, there are things that have to be done. We all went through a very, very sad, tragic incident with the journalists the other day. That is very sad. That's not something that, in a sense, is anyway justifiable in terms of human rights and also in terms of access to information, because by the end of the day, what they were trying to do is portray that information through the internet or other media means to the people. So there is a balance that needs to be struck between very, very basic things from the government and the people. And I'm telling you very basic things. The security of journalists is very important, whether it's online or offline. That has to be given priority. I got to know that they didn't even have the safety badge of the person blowing himself up was not checked, and that anybody can print a safety, a journalist, a press badge and just go out. You know, that is something that is just crazy. We need to come up with innovative ways so that people can get the media from the place of the incident and portray it to people through different means. Internet breakdowns is an important issue. It is not just internet shutdowns where the government shuts down your internet. It's also internet breakdowns. We've had internet breakdowns a lot in the past, and they're still going on. And this is not something very normal. It has to stop. And then at the same point, some other very house cleaning issues, very small issues such as SIM cards. You can just go to Forojgar right now and get a SIM card while you have 10 SIM cards already under your name. This is very, very simple. People have to get up and solve this problem. You can see these SIM cards being given away in Uzbekistan and Tajikistan and all these countries used for illegal activities. It's a huge problem. It needs to be solved. And then the discussion of internet needs to go beyond Internet Governance Forum and the people who are technical. People need to talk about this. The government needs to talk about this. Lawyers, the media, the human rights activists. And just giving you a small example, the Independent Directorate of Human Rights I went through their website today and I've been trying to get in contact with them to get something from them. And you see them as an institution that is working on human rights, but they don't know what's going on, at least that I'm aware of. And I'm sure not many of you have seen the likes of Sima Samarin coming and talking about access to information and human rights. And these are not very small issues. The internet can be a game changer. We don't need to go through this whole way of how the whole world did it. People are now moving on to the internet being the primary means of news, and we just need to get into that right now instead of going the whole long route. And we need to equip people with the internet so we're not looking at all of these specialized agencies like Tolo and I don't know, AFP and Associated Press and all of these going to places to get the news, but actually people using their phones and becoming journalists by themselves. So there's a lot to cover, but in a nutshell, internet is your right. Everybody needs to know that, and everybody needs to start working for that. These smaller issues that are quick wins, we just need to focus and get them together and make a strategy for our future to have a date when we can actually have internet everywhere in the country.
Thank you, Nasrat. Now we are going to the first case. Do you have any exact specific question from you? Is there any question from Nasrat Khalid on if social media is doing anything good for us? Discussions we had. Any specific question? No? Thank you, sir. So there is not any question. Maybe it's because of the many technical problems we faced. We're going to wrap up. Thank you so much for your attention. We made the most challenging session you joined during these 3 days. We have to discuss many important issues wrap up, having access to social media, also freedom of expression is a basic human right. Beyond your status, reputation, or whatever background you have. At the same time, using online social media, also other platforms for free expression and also for sharing ideas. They should be guaranteed, the content should be guaranteed by the government. At the same time, government is positive and supporting your participation by use of social media. At the same time, your expression or government is also supporting. They are provided to simply say حق آزادی بیان و همه ما شما داده. At the same time, advanced media by supporting our content and also whatever we share, and they make sure that while sharing ideas, perspectives, insights, both online and offline, we feel safe and our content is secure. At the same time, blocking, filtering of content or websites is not supported and it's not allowed. At the same time, disrespect to personalities through social media is also not acceptable. And about the crime cases and their presentation through social media is also not the work of video, but it's the work of the security departments. And at the same time, Nasrat covered topics of whether you are in Afghanistan or other countries. It's your basic human rights to have access to social media, and it's not a favor on Afghans, but there are some challenges and problems which need support and solutions, such as having access to SIM cards. At the same time, when we talk about freedom of expression, having access to social media, at the same time human rights. The independent human rights commission also needs to have some work overall. Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you for your patience with the session. We had many technical problems. Thank you so much. We are having a 10-minute break, and then we started earlier. We are going to have a 10-minute break. Then the next session is workshop 9, which is education and learning. It will also be in this session. We have many good speakers in this session. So we'll see you after 10 minutes, 11 and this on. Thank you.
كلش استقلال كذا بريخ كاس ما هو اللي بيجي
لا لا لا
يبقى مجهز
خب هو بس شو بقول we will start after 10 minutes Ten? No, 10
try this.
Please select. نفر select وبركي سن ميغوني. في ماريا بيبي ماريا بيبي رئيس ميغوني. خب. فيش عرفت. We just have a break.
Hello, Maria. Can you hear me? I don't have your voice. I think you mute your. Hello? Yeah, I can hear you. Just I was checking the connection because we have so many technical problems here. This is just for checking. Now we have a 10-minute break, and after that we will have you.
I thought I follow Enrica first, right? And then me?
Yeah. I hear you and I can see your video also.
I can't see anyone. I cannot see you.
Actually, when he came to me with that request, I said, shit, another request. Let me see. It's not going to work. But when he messaged me, we got that case.
Yeah, so just we will be with you at 10 minutes.
No problem. If you lose me, don't worry about it. I'll just send narration.
Yeah, the national security.
Sorry, can you repeat? Just
Something very clear and so essentially.
can you repeat?
If I lose connection, do not worry about bringing me back. I will just do a narration and send it over tomorrow.
What's the reason? If it is a specific case,
Yeah, okay.
it is an
Yeah,
immediate.
the connection is a little bit
So that's right.
coming and going.
You are confused. If there is an immediate threat to national security, and this really endangers national security, so there is some circumstances. So if it really endangers the national security, and if there is a real threat, so that's right.
But trust me, all the companies are keen since they want to be in all the countries, and it is globally. And this is the environment behind all the social media companies.
Yes, because you are right, because all taxi because foundation was made.
They have established.
But it's not legal.
So it doesn't come up. Even
Yes,
so no one is going to, but no one is going to. Yes, so but no one. Yes, but no one is going to. Companies are going to talk about this.
It is, but at the same time, the parallel to the, I mean, legal laws also apply. Legal
It is also there that since these issues are coming up, the law also takes time to never had.
Hey Maria.
I'm sure India has rights.
No, we don't. We're working on the draft.
Hey Maria, can you see
We
me?
have. That says, but it doesn't say how it will work. So the bill is being drafted now for privacy on how data should be collected, how data should be stored. So we're waiting for the bill. That is something that is important. The data storage, and we can tap how we will tap, what is the process. Now these are
For now, we don't have any visits there.
Why not?
Because we don't have any session on that. Do session.
Yes. Oh, we starting?
Hey, Maz. You just one. Hey, Maria Bibi.
خب سلايد دي سلايد شته دغه
چه نه بخش سلاید نداره خوب مدیراتور است خب گپ کی نداره چی میگم شما یک چادر امتحان میزنه یکی میزنه
سلايد امریکا
ماریا بیبی
سلايد امریکا کجاست
تو اینجا سپاه
topic is just regional collaboration and capacity building
دا دغه د ماریا بیبی سلاید
she just go
دیتی برو دیتی اون اون بالا یه چی نه دا بل شده دیگه دیگه یه بالا
چه presentation داری
چه عنیه چه چادر چه جمشید هاشمی بیا من presentation جمشید هاشمی is online hey جمشید هاشمی se online است
جمشید هاشمی
yeah I'm right we have Jamshid
I'm here
yes
yeah yes.
هي سبق وين جام شيء شلون مكلم سبق ما ادري شلون مكلم لانه شيء ازين سبق كل فيكنا كل يسوى
ما وزن خلاص
كما سبق هو بقول شلون مكلم
بالله صباح مش شغال
تمام
بروجيكتور چالان بروجيكتور چالان
صدای من میاد slightly much rata
Hello to everyone and thank you for coming. I see that we are having people joining us, so just wait maybe 30 seconds before the program starts. Can I allow my mics here?
خيش
جمشید هاشمی دولت من تو سوق چی جا توصل شسته yes yes چی متى راجع كان راجع مسابقة لازم
Hopefully after lunch we will have again a full presentation. So I've probably some of the agenda that today we will be focusing on education and learning track, where we will be speaking about the regional cooperation that in this sense is very important. Before I present you my respected panelists, with the present online and here on the side, I would like to say a couple words about myself so you know what's my background. I think yesterday we spent a significant amount of time together, so probably you know, but as you know, my name is Anna Ginko. I support the national and regional IGF processes from the side of the IGF area, support the global IGF, and I've been working with the Afghanistan IGF last year when the
the organization process for the first annual meeting. It's impressive teamwork, and most importantly, it's an impressive community engagement. I think this meeting also shows that there was close thinking about yesterday, even though there are constraints and challenges. One, so I'll start from the panelists that are not here, but it's supposed to be here because they're named in the agenda. So you met James Alessandro, that is the program technology manager at the Internet. Unfortunately, he couldn't reach the venue here this morning because of the road outside. But we and Internet work together and work in his team, so I think I will be playing this one. I'm very glad that we have this round table with us to please acknowledge and join us here at the panel. Marilyn was a respected member, she kept it here today, so I think she is also the right person to speak about the IGFA process happening at the global level and also regional. On my left side, I do have, if you want more, America, I have a you will tell me later about your recommendation. I have here a long acronym, I'm not going to use it. But we will speak a bit later about the importance of engagement of stakeholders that contribute to the education of learning when it comes to participatory policy. Online with us,
Jamshed Hashmi. You have Jamshed?
Yeah, Mr. Jamshed Hashim.
Yes.
Is development manager at CEL. Is Maria is not with us. Okay, maybe Maria will turn us.
No, Maria is not.
So let us then follow the agenda and start at the very beginning from Amrita. Maybe you can open this panel, which is going to be about regional collaboration and capacity building.
Right. Thank you so much for bearing with all the technical glitches. In case I go too fast, please just let me know. Sometimes I talk a bit fast. So I come from this region. I'm from India. I work, the organization which I represent is called CCAOI. We started 10 years earlier as an association for cyber cafes because they were the public internet points from where more than 50% of the internet users used to access, because internet is still expensive. Though India has cheap internet, language is an issue because not everyone speaks English. People do not know how to use internet, and many people who are senior citizens, they need assistance when they are even buying a railway ticket. Our railway ticket is online. So there were challenges, and that is how we started. But over the years, we've had many users, internet service, small internet service providers, hardware and manufacturers, etc., who became our members, and that's why we are known as CCAOI. We work on internet governance issues. I personally work a lot on building capacity in the region, in South Asia, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, a bit in Pakistan, and with some of your teams. The reason why I feel it is important is, I'll come to the why I feel that there should be a cooperation between, there needs to be collaboration. I will be speaking why we need regional collaboration, and why it's important, and how we can have it in simple ways. I'm not getting to the big 5-year plans, that's not my way. See, we are countries with very limited resources. Many of our places are not connected. We forget internet, we do not have electricity everywhere. People don't have the basic education. So we have limited resources. We are countries wherein we have most of the young people coming up. They need jobs. They need to know what technology is, because it is going to help them more than us. They are our future. Thirdly, we as countries have an aspiration. It might be a least developed country, it might be a developed country, but we want to change that scenario for ourselves. And that is why we need to collaborate.
we might have a lot of political dialogues which happen as in SARC. I'm just going to limit my discussion to the SARC countries. But it has to grow not only in politics, it has to grow where each one of the citizens can be empowered, can be resourceful. Now coming back to internet governance, the internet is changing the world in many ways. What we do today might not be relevant tomorrow, but people everywhere need to know it, need to be able to access it or get the benefits of internet. There are challenges and there has to be dialogues on how to fix those issues. The issue which is important in Afghanistan is not important in US. They need to understand the issue of a person who would be a new user from India would be very different from what the policies today is being made in the West. And for that, we need to have our people at the table stating the issue. When people are talking about access, artificial intelligence, people also need to realize that even to use your phones, people don't get enough electricity to charge their phones. That is a problem, and that is where innovation is required. So for that, you have to be able to collaborate. Someone in Bangladesh might be making a small device which can help to power your smartphones faster. You need to know that so that you can replicate it in your country. And that is why you need to collaborate. It can be simple things. Now coming back to internet governance, just shut me when you go to shut me. Now coming back to internet governance, since internet is getting into our lives, it is getting into everything. It is important to know how it is governed because it affects your and my life, not only your careers. So you need to know how it works. We use Facebook, we use Google. I'm using names, sorry, but just to give an example so that you can relate. We find it helpful that we can connect with our friends. I knew Anya earlier in online than I knew her. I'm meeting her perhaps for the first time. I might have seen her at IT. But we know each other because of the beautiful thing called internet. And for that, you have to be able to get the information. So it's not, if you think that you are in Afghanistan and you don't have the means to reach out to people, there are very simple means. Getting to the mailing lists of various discussions. And I don't mean just ICANN, ISOCA, or any of the ISTARs, but other discussions which are happening. In the WEF, there are certain discussions happening. You might come from e-commerce, you might come from media, you might come from the technical fields. So you will find various ways in which you get information. Simultaneously, there are various groups within this region who are exchanging information. So that is something which I would encourage you. Share your experiences, ask them when you have your queries, get into those kind of groups wherein you get information. Okay, this is a fellowship which is coming up, this is a job opportunity, this is a free course which is coming up. And that is what I primarily work on, trying to dissipate the information to interested people. For example, in October we have the Indian School of Internet Governance. This would be the third one. In the last 2 years, we've had students coming from Afghanistan. Last year we had 2, the previous year we had 3. So anyone who's interested, and we try to get funding, at times we can't get, but it's in your neighborhood. You can come. The reason is just not to come there, but you get to know more people, learn about experiences. That's important. You get. And many times what happens from these kind of networks is you have a problem later on, you reach out to them, they reach out to you. That is how you can help each other to grow up. You cannot work individually, you need help. Simultaneously, there are various groups, unnamed, in Facebook, in WhatsApp, there are various groups on internet governance, and people from all across sharing information. This is the course, this is a meeting which is happening online, why don't you go and use it? So those are ways in which you can be resourceful and help each other. It's not, you cannot grow alone in this world. I don't believe that. Someone will always help you and you have to help someone. Only then can you grow. And knowledge is not something that you can keep to yourself. You have to share. The more you share, the more you learn. So I'll restrict here. If you have any queries, I'm happy to take them.
Thank you, Amrit, for very much. And thank you especially for raising these points of having a meaningful access in the country, and also other points that are related to digital literacy. So I may refer back to you later after we hear from other speakers. So now I would like to go to Jamshid.
Yes, we have.
Jamshid, I think you hear us. Thank you for joining us.
Just a minute.
Hello.
Jamshid, I think we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I do.
Excellent. Thank you very much for joining. I hope these are decent hours for you, wherever you're based. I'm just going to kindly ask you to maybe tell us more about how CASA can engage, to tell us more about your perspectives on regional cooperation, the importance of regional cooperation for education and
Okay, great. So,
Yeah, you just start.
okay,
Yeah,
great.
start.
So hello everyone. This is Jamshid. I'll be talking about who we are in Afghanistan, which I was going to explain a little bit when it comes to using technology, the digital library that we are developing and having. We are supporting the education in Afghanistan. I worked previously as development manager, but recently started to manage the software development activities in the library, which is online and available. So let's get into more about what OER is. So the thing that I know that for most of you guys it's a new term, but hopefully through this presentation I will be able to explain further about what it is and how through technology we can transform and support the education system in Afghanistan or in any place. As it's defined, open education is a simple and a powerful idea. The most knowledge is a public good, and the technology in general and the web in particular provide an extraordinary opportunity for everyone to share, to use, and reuse knowledge. So basically, open educational resources, or OER, is about sharing, using, and reusing knowledge under complete legal and ethical freedom. Actually, let me share a story here on the power of sharing, using, and reusing through use of technology. Lainey Grainer, a mom, took a photo of her then 11-month-old son Sam on August 26, 2007. She posted it to both her personal Flickr account and put it on BTMH, which now removed. The image is now available in Flickr if you search success kit, and the rights are changed to always reserved. But after it was posted, it was freely available and used in many websites and different platforms like Reddit and MySpace. And people start to add some more things in it. I don't know, you may already saw this photo somewhere online as well. So what happened was people start using this picture with their own creativity. And if you go to websites like Meme Generator, you can see that lots of version of this picture is available. For example, the favorite one that I like is this one. So the point here is, and also what happened was Virgin Media also used this image in one of their advertisement billboards, and everyone was asking like, did they paid or they use freely? And then Lainey, the mom, confirmed that they paid them. And also this image was used in vitamin water in the US as well. So the point here is, now think of the same for educational resources that are available or made available free to share, reuse, and reuse.
That's why we believe open educational resources can flourish the education system in Afghanistan and create shortcuts in achieving an educated Afghanistan. Also, open educational resource doesn't necessarily require technology, but technology can definitely make the usage and impact of OER very large. Because technology can be a powerful tool for transforming learning, and it can help affirm and advance relationships between the teachers and the students, and remove the accessibility gaps that's available. So let's look at the education system in Afghanistan and happening there. So education in Afghanistan saw a dramatic change since the fall of Taliban, since 2001. By that, like women during those Taliban era, women did not have the right to go to schools, and Afghanistan education system were having its dark days, both in terms of infrastructure and content. For example, a SIGAR report in 2006 says that Afghanistan reportedly has over 15,000 general education government schools and almost 8.7 million students enrolled in those schools. But those schools doesn't have usually most of the time the resources. For example, the books that they must have. As I witnessed in a project that I was involved, and we were assessing Minister of Education in Mazar-e-Sharif, in some of the districts, students were getting their books at the end of the academic year. So the year is finished and they get their schools, their books. And also one of the other problems is that we don't have usually the qualified teachers. And if there are teachers, they require more support, which Minister of Education is not able to provide. So we wanted to change this, and we tried to change that, and that's how we introduced the Darah Danish online digital library, which Darah Danish means knowledge tree, and it is an open educational resource for educators in Afghanistan. I have a very short video here. I don't know if I will be able to play this, and hopefully you guys can see this and can hear the voice.
Darah Danish, meaning knowledge tree in Dari, is a digital collection of open educational resources in Dari, Pashto, and English, produced for teachers, students, and other curious minds in Afghanistan. Developed by the non-profit organization Canadian Women for Women in Afghanistan, we believe that giving teachers access to high-quality learning materials in their own language will build their subject knowledge and improve their teaching. We are using technology to develop learning resources that teachers in even the most rural areas can access and use in their classrooms. We have utilized the high penetration rate of cell phones throughout Afghanistan, as well as working with teacher colleges to install our library collection in their computer labs for offline use. Users of the library can also submit their own resources, helping grow our local language collections. When we receive a new submission, our qualified editors review it before publication. We encourage teachers to adapt and repurpose our materials and then share them with us. Never before has there been such a wealth of information and such possibility for learning at our fingertips. But this potential is untapped when those who need it most cannot access it. Let's change that. Join us and help us connect Afghan teachers to the knowledge commons. Every day, more teachers register on our library and use our materials. But we need your support to reach more teacher colleges and expand access to this tool using mobile phones and tablets, as well as school computer labs. Help us ignite minds and transform the learning experience of Afghanistan's future generations by empowering teachers and students with information. Register with the Darah.
So yeah, that was a very short video explaining about Darah Danish, the library that we are having, and anyone can get there, Darah Danish with e.org, and access it. So the thing is that you may start to question how OER, Open Education Resource, can help Afghanistan education system. Here we think that education have the educators have the free access to educational resources through this platform. And as OER, open educational resources, by nature allows reuse and repurposing, educators can creatively adapt it to their classroom audience and topics, and access to diverse educational materials that includes lesson plans and curriculums, encourage teachers to use different teaching methods, and thus helps diversify in pedagogy. It helps in adaptation, and more importantly in the concept of Afghanistan, helps on localizing the resources, which is a big problem for us, that we don't have much localized contents in Pashto and Dari. And through platforms like DDL, creating a pool of resources for everyone's access. So how we are changing that? So the things that we already discussed and shared, that Minister of Education is not for now capable to reach to every school, to reach to every educator. So we thought that we create a shortcut between teacher and those resources. And so, and I give them access to the Rakh Danish library. And through this platform, students can access all the available educational resources. And through this platform, teachers actually can share their resources that they develop, and other teachers can also use it. And what you can find there, you can find a lot of kind of resources. There are lesson plans, curriculums, and all sort of educational materials that we saw and experiment and saw that the educators and students need in the class in Afghanistan. So part of our activities were also to create awareness. We went to teacher colleges in most of the places in Afghanistan, and actually to almost 15 teacher training colleges, we installed the offline version of the Rakh Danish. And in those schools and in those teacher colleges, we explained about copyright, which is a very new thing in Afghanistan, about Creative Commons. What does a copyright mean? How you should obey that? Nowadays, we see lots of people are sharing books in Facebook and social media, and we try to explain that what is legal and what's not, and how they can develop their own educational resources. And this is a teacher training college in Faryab, and this is a teacher training college in Kandahar. As you can see in the picture, I don't know if it's clear, there is a mom there with her son in the class, came to learn more about this, and it shows how girls and women in our country are really interested and eager to learn more and to get more knowledge. So part of our activities in the country. So the thing is that now you may ask that, okay, so OER for Afghanistan, everyone is using, people are using that or not? And this is a picture from host province, that again, like ladies came there, and they are doing their preparing their open educational resources. So they have to create a part of the activities to create a lesson plan, create like a short curriculum, create for example, a part of if it's physics or math, create a resource for their students. So we help them develop that, and then we help them also upload it back to the library, so other teachers can use it. So now the question of okay, so you guys are doing this, we are not aware that if it's being used in Afghanistan or not. I have data here. We are gathering that through Google Analytics, and I'm sharing it only for the last 30 days. As you can see, during last month, we had 6,000 users. Our returning visitors were over 1,000. We had more than 17,000 page views, and traffic source were mostly organic through Google. People are searching things and coming to DDL, the digital library. Mostly, as you can see, the operating system that you're using is Android, because mostly Afghans are having phones which are Android, which are cheaper to have. And top 3 service providers is GCN DCN, which is Afghan Telecom. That's how Google Analytics is getting that. And Etisalat and Afghan BSIM is the second and third. So who are our visitors? They are mostly from Afghanistan, second Iran, United States, Pakistan. So the thing is that, as you all know, we have refugees, immigrants, Afghans all over the world. So this is not only for Afghanistan, but those people who are outside the country, they are using these resources, these materials for their kids, for their children. So that's how we are getting lots of resources, also lots of contacts. They need some more books, children books, educational books for their children. Local schools in those places, they all require. And so that we have this thing. This is a very good opportunity for us. But the thing is that we can't change everything overnight. And of course, these are all opportunities. Those who have access, those who can get into this and get information, get their resources from this, especially educators. But what are our challenges? We have also problem in awareness, challenge in terms of infrastructure. This is actually a TTC in Lagman. Our colleagues a couple months ago went to install an offline version of DDL here. And the directors there directed them to a warehouse. And they said, this is our computer lab. And our colleagues noticed that all computers are still in the box and no one opened it because they don't have anyone there to take out of the box, take those computers out of the box and use it. So our colleagues first took them out of the box, install it, set that up, activate it, and then they installed the DDL there. And the other thing is that the internet problem that's available in Afghanistan, which is something I think that really is a big problem. But still, I think this is a challenge, but can be done, can be resolved. For example, if all these telecom operators in Afghanistan, in the places that they have 3G and 4G coverage, if they can allow or give access for free for these, for example, websites like Dari Danish or websites like Wikipedia, I think it will really have a revolutionary effect on the education system of Afghanistan, because people can then search these websites. For example, a teacher can search in Dari Danish library in DDL a topic in chemistry, a topic in physics, can access additional resources there and can get more preparation, better preparation, and go to the class and teach for her or his students. So the other thing is that this is my final slide, and to finalize my words is that in an ideal world in developed countries, now people stopped discussing or talking about should we use technology for education or not. They moved that conversation to this, that how we can use technology better to support education. And the thing there is that it is actually a cycle of leadership sets the vision, teachers putting that into practice, and through calculated measurement, this cycle continues, and that's how learning happens. And for that to happen, we should have accessibility, we should have devices, we should have connectivity, and we should have resources. And I think what we are doing through OER and the Dari Danish library in Afghanistan is trying to fitting these pieces together and to be part of the support system for education in Afghanistan. And this is the link for our digital library, daridanish.org. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much for excellent presentation. I think it was very useful for us, especially looking at all the procedures that you shared with us. I'm not going to ask you any questions now, because I think it's questions that we have only 5 minutes to wrap up the session before time for time. Should I get that to okay that he may join us online, but I need to
He's not here.
In the meantime, I'm just going to ask you if we have records of pushing stay in touch with about the IGF contribution to the education and learning purposes on I'm going to ask Marilyn very quickly to tell us the importance of the national IGF process and the global IGF process for education and learning on Internet policy
So obviously, my name is Marilyn Cade, and obviously I think I'm a miracle speaker. The national IGFs, like IGF Afghanistan, all have various activities that are about enhancing awareness and understanding what the internet governance is and what the related issues are in their country. Some are very focused as well on what is going on an issue in a sister NRI or going on globally, while others are very focused on the uniqueness of what's going on in their countries. They all represent a place, if you're interested in a particular issue, they don't necessarily have a formal training program or education program, but they have documents, including in the reports, that will have a summary of what the discussion was about a particular issue. So I'm going to give you an example. At the IGF last year, I moderated an NRI to NRI discussion on fake news, disinformation, and misinformation. And out of that, we built a repository of information that has links and access to information about how that issue is affecting elections in certain countries. Let's not talk about the U.S. here. You won't know it from there. But how it's also destroying trust in products. When one competitor sends out information attacking another competitor's product, it's false. But it's not a formal education approach, but it is rich with information. The other thing is that many of them hold webinars that can be accessed online. And the final thing that I would say is very often there are experts speaking at the sessions, people like Maria Bibi, who you heard from before. Oh, we haven't even heard from Maria. Experts on particular topics, which might be child safety, that the experts based at UNICEF, they're doing work in 120 countries, and the issue is child safety, etc. And that's a resource that's available to everybody and is a rich repository of information. It's not a formal training program, but it is, you have to learn to be a really good World Wide Web detective. But if you are, there's a lot of this kind of training, education, awareness. And the NRIs are usually really, really good at finding it and being and providing access to it. Did you talk about the BPX?
No, I didn't.
Okay. At the IGF itself, we have what we call intersessional work, and we have best practice forums. And so the best practice forums are composed of experts. They're not debating policies, but the experts are talking about the status of an issue. And let me take cybersecurity as an example. Most of the people working on the best practice forum in cybersecurity are real cybersecurity experts. The difference between just being on the list and arguing with each other and giving opinions is these are people who are practicing cybersecurity experts. Those reports, which are published and are on the website, are almost like a bibliography of the right things to read and the right experts, because they've been debating with each other. And there's that report, and there's the references to contacts, etc. This is kind of an informal approach to an education and awareness approach. But we don't call it that, but that's the effect it has.
Thank you very much for these remarks. I'm going to keep the record here in case before you have questions. We do have 5 minutes maximum. That is open the floor for questions. And then we will need to rush to the full aid public forum. So, if anyone has a question, do you have a question?
Is there any question?
Do we have any questions? Please raise your hand if you have questions and I'll see you. If we don't have any questions, can I kindly ask you to pass the microphone? No, he has who has a question? You have questions? So wait, sorry, for the microphone. Can I ask you to pass the microphone here? And then we will give you about 2 minutes maximum.
Could you give the mic to him? Yes.
Hello everyone, I'm Javed Mahmoud from Kabul University. Ma'am, you discussed about the challenges and issues in India. We have the same challenges in Afghanistan as well, like in a school, in primary schools and secondary schools as well, and university sections. The main problems I found is systems and curriculum. It is in all South Asian countries. 4 or 5 years before, I have studied and research about South Asian, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, and Nepal. The main problem that I found is the system. And I compare this with Japan, that in Japan have to passport and this, they are not forcing their children and kids to go to school, to do this, and to study like that. But in Afghanistan, in all South Asian countries, we have this challenge. So how will you think for the future, changing of curriculum or changing of the system will be better? Thank you very much.
Education for most South Asian parents, education is considered an insurance for their future. If parents, there are parents who go without food to ensure that children study so that they get a decent job. So for parents, the job is the ultimate target. The target is a job. The target is not whether the child is learning anything. They might be cramming up. Most of our education system is not something which educates a child. It is more of people cramming up things to pass the exam to get the job. That's the ultimate. Till the time we are a country with limited resources. The government jobs are less. The corporate jobs are less. Jobs are shrinking, and our populations are expanding, unfortunately. So definitely there needs to be a relook at the curriculums, not only to ensure that people actually learn what they're supposed to learn, to do, and also to expand the scope of their opportunity to earn later on, because jobs are going to be scarce. The types of jobs we have now is going to change. How do we accommodate the jobs for future generations? So based upon that, the curriculums have to change.
Thank you very much. Any more questions? I don't see any raised hands. So in that case, maybe we have our request here for a quick presentation. Can you maybe, do you want to give the mic or?
Okay, thank you. Especially I would like to thank Ms. Merlin today for giving me this opportunity. As we all know that education is one of the first and most needs of every society, especially ours, and main cause for development. Fortunately, we have organizations and people, youths who are actively taking part in these social activities. So I'd like to give a brief information about the organization which I am working here. So first of all, I'd like to ask you all, how many of you know about APGA's for progressive thinking or APT? Great, great. So I'll give you a short information, right? APT was founded in 2010 by RF Lucier, a young college graduate who had a vision of a peaceful, tolerant, and open and progressive Afghan society. So it was a shared vision of thousands of young Afghans. And since its inception, APT has worked with over 12,000 university students in Mazar, Herat, Faizabad, and Kabul provinces. So we have programs like debate, open programs, leadership programs, media, and we have some advocacies, so leadership courses, also online sessions with expert leaders from abroad. And you can see more information, you can get more information from apt.aid. Thank you.
If we don't have any follow-ups from your side, and I believe we will need to conclude this session now. I think Hall A, there is a public forum that's supposed to start at 20. Yeah. It's going to be here? Yeah. Oh, so you have to stay here. So the public forum will be at this C. And I would like to thank all the panelists, first of all, for joining us. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the session. You have a lot of resources here offered, so I hope you will do your own research maybe. Thank you very much.
My name is Marilyn Kate. I know you haven't heard that before. Yes. Omar and I are going to be co-moderating, and he's on his way into the room. So just give us a minute and we'll be ready to go. But you have to start thinking about being very active and making a lot of suggestions during this next session. So that sets it up, all right? Give me 1 minute and we'll get started.